Hello, everyone. This is Carl Berry, your health connector. And we're here to do what we do, is to introduce you to the people that will be able to help you in your circumstance, regardless of what it is. And in today's world, we see a lot of moral bankruptcy, moral decline. We see social services diminishing. And I tell people all the time, the Cavalry's not on the way. The days of when somebody was going to come in and help you are gone. We are the Cavalry. If we don't come together and help ourselves, we're going to cease. We're going to be subject to whatever whims that the people that are in charge have. But to be honest about it, they're really not in charge. We're in charge. So, what do you think we need to do to get more people to join together in serving each other?
That's a loaded question, Cole.
Mm-hmm.
um, I mean, for me, the first thing I would probably say is remove the egos. A lot of these organizations have egos big as this room, right? Meaning that I want to be the one in front of the camera. I want to be the one getting the recognition for the work, things of that nature. And so when it's selfish like that, there's no room for collaboration. You know what I'm saying? And then you have the other half of that alleged collaboration, and it's the people that want to do something but never do.
Yeah, you gotta. The people don't understand collaboration. They get caught up in competition, and you want my grant money. So, what do you do to step out on your own to show people who you are, to help people find out what they need to be doing?
I think it's important to just sometimes jump right in and assist. Like for me, with I love helping nonprofit organizations. So I have one myself, but I also help others and we collaborate. So being able to see what it is that you need, what it is that I need, and how we can come together and support each other. Because a lot of times we don't know what each other's strengths are and what we need from the community or what we need from leadership. So sometimes maybe if you may be weak in one area, this person or someone else or maybe me, maybe stronger in that area, and we come together to uplift the organization. So I think that's important, recognizing what your strengths are and sometimes just jumping in asking, hey, how can I be an assistant for you?
They say that's like a business thing. That's a rule of thumb, kind of, sort of, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
when you're looking to collaborate with another business, you have a offer, right? What you can offer them, what you can bring to them, right?
Right.
And you have an ask, like, how can I help you? How can I assist you in your mission?
Mm-hmm.
What I see with a lot of the nonprofits is we don't ask and
Yeah.
we don't offer. We just want to receive, receive, receive all the time. And it's really like I started my feeding program by volunteering with other distributions,
Mm-hmm.
right? I gained knowledge, gained experience, gained resources, things of that nature. A lot of people don't want to do that.
Yeah.
There's never, in some cases, I think they think that there's not enough time, as a nonprofit to collaborate with another nonprofit. It's like, oh, I'm so busy helping people that I don't have time to collaborate. And I think that in our case, we collaborate because it's a far reach, right? What you have,
Right.
what you have, what we all have, we can all use in some way, shape, or form. But I also think that there's a piece missing. Well, one of the things that we do is if there's a nonprofit out there that's struggling, we try to collaborate so that they can piggyback on what we're doing, right? So the exposure that we're getting in whatever we're doing, whether we're on this or something else, say, let me bring you along because you may not be doing what we're doing,
Right.
but what you're doing, people need to know about. And I think it's really about just remembering that nonprofits are run by real people
Mm-hmm.
that really do need help. And sometimes, like you mentioned, they don't feel comfortable enough to say we need help.
Right.
because it's like, well, I'm running a nonprofit and it's surviving, so it's really good. But no, it's more than that. It's not just survival. It's trying to coordinate, and even if you're not doing the same thing or like directly connected, maybe there's a dotted line to where it's like, well, come on, and inviting somebody to do that, like you said, and just kind of jumping in. um, and there's plenty of money, there's plenty of other ways to figure it out, and us as nonprofits don't need to be in competition with one another, because God's going to provide exactly what we all need, as long as we're treating each other
Right.
care, with love,
Absolutely.
care, and concern.
But we got to make sure that people recognize that nonprofit is not the purpose of the organization.
That's right.
Right.
You're not treating the organization not to make no money.
Right.
And you're not trying to spend all of your money running the organization because you have this giving heart.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point. A lot of people think nonprofit means no money, but it's not. It's a status. It's tax exemption.
And I tell people all the time, if you wonder if a nonprofit is supposed to make money, look at Goodwill, look at the Salvation Army,
Right.
multi-million-dollar companies, and they don't do a lot of fundraising.
Yeah, look at Parkland.
And it sustains.
Right.
It's sustainable, right?
Yeah.
So I took some early nonprofit classes when I first decided to do this, and her name was Renee Sunday. I'll never forget it. She said, "Quit treating your profit like a side hustle, your business like a side hustle. Is it a business or is it a ministry? And you need to make a decision."
Right.
And so at that point, I decided to make it a business, pursue it, and interact with it as a business than a ministry. A ministry is what Carl just said. That's why I'm giving out of my pocket all the time, things of that nature. But I did have a question for you. I'm gonna play devil advocate, right?
Sure.
So what about the fake or false collaborations, right? Case in point, I know of a grant that a lot of people are going after, right? And nowadays grants require collaboration, letters of support, letter of references, things of that nature. What about those non-authentic collaborations that are just really collaborations on paper? Oh, dang, everybody said
I mean, that's a really good question, because, I think that, I'm a 12-stepper. And authenticity is part of my program.
Yeah.
And I think that, I don't know, sometimes I feel like I would rather say no to the collaboration
Okay.
and navigate it another way if I don't feel like it's authentic.
Right.
Because, I mean, we've been seeing in the news some things that have been happening with some nonprofits because of that reason, and they fall financially short. They make the news, which makes all of the rest of us not look valid in certain ways. But, I think that the discernment and the authenticity that I have to feel as the organization's leader to make sure that it's the right thing for the organization, that I think sometimes we do have to look at something and maybe say no.
Yeah.
I agree.
I
Well,
agree.
we live in a world now where you got to check the facts.
Right.
Everybody's got a lie. And they've got a reason to justify that lie, and they got a reason why they're doing the right thing, because they're really trying to help the world. And I work a lot in ministry, and it's the hardest thing in the world sometimes to get some of these people to align with each other, even if they got the same name out in front of the building.
Right.
Well, I don't want to do that, because if I do that, then I'm doing the same thing he's doing. I got to be able to draw all men unto me.
Well, and to your point too, I think that's a really good question, because I think that it's like being in nonprofit is such a personal thing, right? Because of whatever we're doing to help, help, period. But at the same time, what I've noticed is that if I'm doing more and putting in more effort than maybe somebody is reciprocating, that's also a telltale, because that's part of the collaboration, right? It's not
Right.
like one of us is doing it all and the other one's not doing as much. And I think that it's so disappointing when you give so much to something like that, right? In a collaboration especially, and all of a sudden there's money tied to it and you've done all the work, but it comes
The
to
big payback.
yes.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, heck, I just worked my butt off for that. And so, I can find myself getting angry about stuff like that. And so I think for the organization, I always have to go, okay, is this about you or is this about the organization? So if you're mad because of all the work you did and it turned sour, but what happened with the organization? Maybe you didn't put the organization first.
That's a good point.
I like that because that your network is the pulse of the organization, right? And that goes back to that morality piece that you mentioned early in the beginning. Like, where's your morals? Where are your values at, right? Like, case in point, I keep their anonymity. Got an email yesterday. Individual want me to provide them with a support letter. No big deal. Only way I know these individuals because I've been to a community event that they host every year. But we don't interact together. We don't work together. But you want me to put my name on this letter with a letterhead for my company and say with good intentions that we good, right?
Right.
And so I gatekeep. I'm a gatekeeper, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the key. I ain't no gatekeeping. I'm a soldier. I'm gonna stay at the front of the gate. You hear me? Because I got to be mindful who's coming in the gate, right? Are these gonna be authentic people? Are they really gonna help the people, or are they just looking to make a name for themselves, benefit? I mean, what is it, right? And so I have to interview people in a sense, like organization. Like, do I really want to partner with you? I already know going into the relationship that I'm probably going to end up doing the majority of the work, so let's not be mad about that, right? Because my hope is to show you what a nonprofit is supposed to do, right? Instead of tell you.
What about the grungy people? And what I mean by that, we all know
Who are
that
the
there
grungy people?
are so many
I think
people.
that's me. You made me dress up. I'm totally the grungy people.
Yeah, but we got so many people that are overlooked and undervalued because of their circumstance.